Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Millionaire Purpose Discovery Program. My name is Blessing Theophilus Israel. Today it gives me great pleasure to be speaking with Greg. His name is Greg Laguna. Is that right?
Langola. You tried, you're good. You tried.
Now, Greg, you are an entrepreneur and you're also a success and a business coach, I understand. So Greg, please just tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Thank you very much. So myself, I am a life purpose coach and radio host. So I basically help people identify their passion and find a way to bring it within their career and what they're doing in life. And I also have a radio show to which is just about elevating the mindset, inspiring the community and spotlighting the hidden gems within the community so that people can see the plethora of different avenues that they can go through and achieve success. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. So Greg, how did you come to know that this is your purpose and that this is the reason why you were born to do that?
Well, I certainly didn't realize it, in the younger years. I think the way I normally put it is that life leaves clues, and it's just about looking at your life and, how you've responded to circumstances in the past in order to really identify, core attributes about you that really now shows you, your purpose and where you're going in life. So for me personally, I think when my first encounter with identifying that, I'll have to take you back when I was in school. Because even whilst I was in school, I was around the wrong kind of crowd, and further down the line as time was going by, from year 7, year 8, year 9, I was being told that I'm always going to be excluded like my older brother.
Really?
But the thing with me is I always had I was very astute, from very young, and there was always a lot of potential and talent to me. But the problem was my behaviour and just knowing how to put that in place. So I was always informed that I'll be excluded like my brother, and so by year 7, year 8, year 9, and at that period of time now, I was in the higher tier classes before. Then they dropped me down to the lower classes, and I ended up being in the same classes as all of my other friends. But nonetheless, for me personally, I thought, no, I want to push myself back up to where I know I'm capable of. So I made it my mission. By year 10, I went back up, and at that point of time, I also met. There was a teacher who looked at me and said, Greg, you've got leadership abilities about you. Wow. She said, there's so much more to you, even though, your friends listen to you, the people around you listen to you. Have you ever thought of being a prefect? I was like, yeah, imagine. I was like, prefect, me? As far as I'm concerned, they labeled me as like one of the bad boys. So it's like, I was like, prefect, huh? And then later she said, yeah, you should, I'll put your name down nonetheless. I know you wouldn't want to do it, but I'll put your name down and we'll just see how it goes. She put my name down. A few other teachers started ticking next to my name. They obviously realized that there's some way that you can now transfer those abilities in a way that works well. So long story short, when that happened, a few weeks later, I now became one of the prefects, which was an inspiration to a lot of people because wow, how could someone on that side of things be now elected as prefect? Are you sure you want to trust him as a prefect?
Yes.
And what that also showed me, and this is why I'm taking you back to that first experience, is some of the older guys I used to look up to, who were in the wrong way of life. I remember them also coming back to the school.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, Greg, we heard you're a prefect. I was like, yeah. It was like, yeah. In that split second, there was a lot that was said that is not said through words.
Yes.
That I now realized that there was this kind of image of awe that they had of me that, wow, you can achieve something of which we would love to achieve, but did not have the reach to achieve because of the confinements, but you have the potential, go for it. And that's what I picked up from that. And that was my first encounter with understanding the attributes which now play into my life at this present moment.
Excellent. I think in your question, you've already spoken about some of the challenges you've had to kind of face.
Yeah.
But maybe just elaborate for the viewers who are watching in terms of you finding your purpose and walking in your purpose. What kind of challenges have you had to overcome to be who you are?
First and foremost, is drowning out the noise and the impact of your environments. You know, your environments are obviously shaping you. Your environments are having some form of an impact towards who you are. You know, the friends and, you know, the people around you, things like that. So I was, you know, the way I was because that is where my life first began, within those current environments. Sure. But there was something within me that kept on informing me that there's so much more to me as an individual and so much more for me to aspire to. So it was me drowning all of that through and then coming into a point of kind of, first and foremost, coming to a point where I would first know myself, understand myself, and then accept myself as well. Okay. Once I did that and I found that it's okay for me to be me, you know, and I don't need to try and be like someone else. And if I just embrace who I am, then there's no one else who can beat me at being Greg Langola. I am Greg Langola, you know, and once I embrace who I am, I can now tap into the resources and the power that's available to me. Sure. And now to actually bring it to fruition. Sure.
So it doesn't really matter where our viewers are, because I know, you know, reading your biography, you actually grew up in a council estate. Yeah. So you didn't have the best beginning, but nevertheless, you've worked your way up. That's right. So for our viewers, it doesn't matter whether they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth or whether they are literally in the dumps.
That's exactly
it. If they have the willpower and the desire, they too can be successful. Yeah. So as a final question, just please look in the camera and tell our viewers, what advice would you give them about how to discover their purpose, especially for people who aspire to be an entrepreneur like yourself and aspire to, you know, just be successful in life? What advice would you give them about how to discover that purpose and to walk in it?
Okay. The advice that I would give to the viewers and everyone listening is really, what I would say is that you already know. You know what is inside of you. You know your abilities. It's just about listening to that. Because at the same time, the more you drown that is the more you actually end up walking away from what is actually innate within you. It was me listening to that and turning away the voices of everything else around me, the influences, the people around me, that caused me to now say, okay, you know what, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to listen to what's within me and the direction that it's taken me. And as I followed that, that's when I was able to see the results. So you already know, you know, there's more within you. So listen to that voice and now just get mentors, get people around you that will now help you to instigate that so that you can achieve what you're aspiring for.
Greg, I love that. Listen to the voice inside, and as you said, get mentors, get a coach, and that's why it's Blessing Spiritual Life Coaching. That's why we're here to actually help people to find their purpose.
That's amazing.
And to walk in their full potential.
That's amazing.
Greg, thank you very much for being with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.